Okay, now to the commentary that I originally wanted to make tonight, which is a commentary on Richard Spencer's endorsement of Joe Biden. So Richard Spencer, as you will recall, is the founder of the webzine Alternative Right, which became the genesis for the alt-right movement that now plagues the United States and abroad. And so he is considered the founder of the alt-right and is known to be a white nationalist and white supremacist. So, first things first, to all of the people on the right who are acting like this is somehow some sort of publicity problem for the Democrats. Richard Spencer, as you will recall, was a viciously, passionately outspoken endorsee of Donald Trump during the 2016 campaign cycle. When Donald Trump won, Richard Spencer was captured on camera at a white nationalist convention, sieg-heiling and saying, "Hail Trump, hail victory." He was one of the most controversial endorsees of Donald Trump during that time. So, for you who are complaining about, or you who are acting like it's some sort of publicity optics problem for the Democrats that he is doing this, first of all, they certainly did not seek out his endorsement. And second of all, if you had no problem with him endorsing Donald Trump, then you have no problem with him endorsing Joe Biden. End of story. But I want to talk about this in a little bit greater detail, because the problem is the Democrats seem consistently unable to see the forest for the trees and all of these things. The thing with the Democrats, you know what's interesting, the Democrats don't play political, they don't play politics. They don't play the political game the way the conservatives do. Now, I know that everybody who reads Ben Garrison thinks that the Democrats are, one phone call away from the Illuminati and that they secretly control everything through the deep state and all of this bullshit. Well, rest assured that's all bullshit. The Democrats keep getting set up to lose because they keep not playing the actual game of political intrigue. That's what's so interesting about the show House of Cards. It's so interesting that Francis Underwood is a Democrat because it shows just how far the Democrats could go if they actually did play the political game the way the conservatives play it and that kind of thing. So, to that point, Democrats have got to, don't get me wrong, it is totally right that Joe Biden got up there and rejected Richard Spencer and called him out and denounced him. But that's as far as it needs to go, and I don't think Richard Spencer was expecting anything else to happen. Because here's the thing, Democrats, we keep talking, now understand, I don't like Trump. I have never liked Trump. I want Trump gone. And yes, I will be voting for Kamala Harris. Joe Biden is going to be a figurehead. Kamala Harris is running the show. I will vote for Kamala Harris. There's no way I was voting for Stacey Abrams. I think that she is power hungry and just wanted to crown herself the queen of black people. But Kamala Harris I can put up with for 4 years. And I'm not kidding when I say this. My only criteria for who I vote for at this point is, can I tolerate seeing them on TV every day for 4 years? Kamala Harris, I think I can do it. And I know people are going to come in and say, but Jordan, Kamala Harris has blah, 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 that makes her an unworthy, to which I will say, what did I just say? Anyway, the point being that I want Trump out. And so we've got to take a step back and look at what's actually happening here. Now, a lot of people have said that maybe Richard Spencer is doing a kind of reverse psychology long con, where he knows about his negative public reputation and is using that to try to steer support away from the Democrats by publicly aligning with them. I don't think that's the case. I think he is sincerely behind Joe Biden, and I'll give you the reason. During the primaries, he backed Tulsi Gabbard. And so Tulsi Gabbard, which, by the way, I was on board with Tulsi Gabbard until she failed to vote impeach on Trump. She lost my support at that point, but until then, I really liked her too. But anyway, he got behind Tulsi Gabbard, or at least indicated publicly that he could support Tulsi Gabbard for president. Now, at the time when Tulsi Gabbard was on The View and a lot of other shows, she got ripped limb from limb because she had gotten this endorsement, or at least hinted endorsement, from Richard Spencer. Now, the point being, by the way, why I think that points to Richard Spencer's sincerity in all of this is because if he was going to try to use his negative influence to negatively impact a candidate, a Democratic candidate, he would not have picked the longest of the longest of the long shots on the Democratic ticket, second only to Marianne Williamson for being unlikely to get the nomination. Like, that's such a way out in left field candidate that he would not be using that as an opportunity to try to sway support away from the Democrats. Anyway, now when Tulsi Gabbard was challenged, she was challenged on this about this endorsement from Richard Spencer, and it's like, stop and think for a minute. Stop and look at what happened there. They want to try to find some, of course they were trying to discredit Tulsi the whole time, but they want to try to find some subversive thing about Tulsi and all of this, when in reality they don't look at the strategy of it. Stop and think about that. The most well-known white nationalist in the country, the notorious founder of the alt-right, Mr. White Male Patriarchy himself, was voicing his support for an ethnic woman. Think about that. If he is sincere, and I think he was, if he is sincere in that, think about the implications there. Think about how the guy who got up there and said, "Hail Trump, hail victory," is now with a Sieg Heil, is now supporting an ethnic woman Democrat. Think about that for a minute, from a strategic standpoint. Because, Democrats, we all talk about the 30% of Trump voters that are Trump supporters that you can never get through to, that they'll never listen to you, no matter what you do. They are that loyal. The extreme right wing, the Breitbart wing, the Breitbart not Red Letter Media, Red Ice, all of those people. The extreme right wing, right of center. Why am I pointing to the left? The extreme right of center people, all of those people, that 30% that you can't get to, they will listen to Richard Spencer. Now, you should denounce him. You should say that you don't respect him and you have nothing to do with him. That's reasonable. But leave it at that. Because I don't think Richard Spencer expects anything less. But understand the political opportunity you have here. Because we're talking, if you've seen the movie Moneyball, this is exactly what we're talking about. You can't get runs. If you want runs, you got to get on base. If you want to affect change, you got to get into power first. And Richard Spencer's vote, and the vote of every single one of the people that will be affected by him, those votes are not white nationalist votes. They're not alt-right votes. They're not anti-Semitic votes. They're just votes. Each one of them counts for one, and that's all it counts for. It doesn't matter who the person is that's casting the ballot. It's just a ballot in your favor. You won't catch racism AIDS if those people vote for your candidate. You have an open window to try to reach that 30% of voters that are supposed to be unreachable on Trump's side. Don't mistake that for what it is. Don't fail to take advantage of that opportunity. Richard Spencer is a scumbag. I don't, I've said it before, I don't endorse violence against somebody that is standing there publicly, just standing there peacefully voicing their opinions, which when he was assaulted on the street, that's all he was doing. But I understand the desire to punch him. I get it. I understand why you feel that way. When I look at Richard Spencer, I think I'm not kidding. I'm not exaggerating. When I look at Richard Spencer, I imagine, the voice I hear in my head is, you may have a concept of a Patrick Bateman. You may reach out, you may see me, you may shake my hand and feel flesh gripping yours, but I simply am not there. That's what I think of. I really truly think of American Psycho when I look at Richard Spencer. He feels like the living embodiment of that character. The way, you look at the man's eyes, he looks like he's about to feed on you. He looks like he's about to sink his teeth in. That is what I see in Richard Spencer. But his vote is just a vote identical to every single other one. Fred Phelps, lifelong Democrat. Horrible human being. But if he could sway some votes, God bless him. And that's what Democrats don't understand. Just like there was a big controversy when Joe Rogan came out in support of Bernie Sanders, and people were like, Joe Rogan is transphobic. The man has the 4th most popular podcast in the world. And you're going to look that gift horse in the mouth? We have got one opportunity to escape the suffocating doldrums of another 4 years of Donald Trump. We've got one opportunity. And I think, by the way, if Trump loses, I think it will take the federal marshals to get him out. I don't think he will leave quietly. Maybe I'll be wrong. I don't know, but he's already indicated that he won't support any election results where he loses. But it's got to be a landslide, people. It has got to be a victory by such a wide margin that a recount would be completely ridiculous. You have an opportunity. You have you have got an opportunity to put the king in check with one piece. Don't misuse it.